Welcome to Slow Home Studio. Too many people live in badly designed houses, and we want to change that.
It's Tuesday, June the 14th, and today we're going to be reviewing the work of the students from the Art Institute of New York. William Gates' class has been working on this Laneway house project for the last week, and they submitted their project. We're going to spend 2 days looking at it because we've got 11 or 12 submissions to look at, as well as a couple of latecomers from the general Slow Home Studio crowd. So let's get right at it and have a look.
Yeah, so this is Steve from Vancouver, and he submitted two...
Not one of the class members.
Not one of the class members. This is a viewer from Vancouver. He submitted two schemes. Interesting idea because he built a wall, basically, all the way around the Laneway house and then made this glass. So he's kind of created his own site with this view to this outdoor area.
I think it's a really, really good idea to do that. We've seen those kinds of courtyards in Los Angeles. They're really tight and they're great.
That's the thing that's really important is they don't have to be a huge space. I mean, this is probably about 8 feet, and that works really, really well. You just need a little bit to have some planting in there and get a good visual.
I think you could even drop it down to 6 feet, to tell you the truth. It's really something to look at.
Yeah, and the other thing is to have a high wall on that side, and he provided. Well, first of all, let's talk about this. He had this sort of the idea of the walled house around the Lane house, and then he divided the site up a little differently. He said, this is parking, this is the yard for the main house, and then this is the yard for the Laneway house. So he was trying to divvy it all up and give more parking to the site. This was his concept photos, and that was the thing that I was just mentioning was the fact about the height of the wall. So even with a little bit of depth, you can still get that feeling with the height. So now moving on to our submissions from New York. This is the first one. This is Charmaine.
Charmaine, yes. And that was great. And we really appreciate getting all of these submissions from the students. And I understand that they had a week to work on it. This is their first design project, and they didn't really get any feedback. So it's quite remarkable to see what they've been doing. And there's a few things that I really like about this. One of them is the idea of consolidating the bathroom and the bedroom together so that it creates one large space as well as creating an entry on that side. I think that that's nice.
Yeah, I think that's really good. I think a couple things just from space planning, you got to look at the layout of the bathroom. And I think when you've got a small space, you have to be really careful that you don't have a lot of floor space. And I think a corner tub in a small space is a no-no because those take up a lot of room, as we know. So you want to probably stick with a more standardized layout. The other thing to take into consideration is the location of your doors. And you would ideally like to see them not located on the same wall that looks into the living room and the kitchen.
Particularly the bathroom. Exactly.
You want to try to get them around a corner from another side.
Now we have ES Sumner's scheme, and I think this is also interesting. I do like this idea of having a piece of millwork that rotates so that it can be used both in the living room as well as the bedroom. I like the idea of there being a sort of floating wall system that separates off the bedroom when you need it and when you don't. And I like the idea of the fireplace, really thinking about how you can start to make this run all the way through.
Yes, and I would say that, again, in a small space scheme, you want to be careful how much room you proportion to each of the spaces. I think the bedroom proportionately is too big compared to the proportion of the living space. You want to flip those. You'd like the living space to be larger than the bedroom. The bed in the center of the plan with room all the way around it is really difficult to achieve in a small space. And then again, I say we have to look at the bathroom layout. We want to stick more with the standardized layout if we can, where we've got the toilet and the sink and the vanity in a row to maximize floor space and functionality.
Right, because this is really kind of wasted space right there, isn't
Correct.
it? Just one last note on the layout. I think if just looking at it this way, if you could take that piece of furniture and get it kind of along that side, then you could have one piece of furniture freestand there, and at least that would, I think, give you a kind of furniture grouping that would be organized around.
I agree. That's actually a really good point, how to fit that in there. So this is Stephanie's scheme. The thing I really like what she did is she had all of her services consolidated as a block. So the storage, the laundry, and the bathroom in a row against that edge. That's smart. In a small space, that works well. She also did something which nobody else has done where they don't have a bedroom. They actually just used a Murphy bed and then a fold-down study desk. So this wall of millwork then joins into the kitchen millwork. So then that means this is one big open space.
Yeah, I think that's also nice. I think I might do something, and maybe that's what this is some kind of slightly taller piece just to give a bit of separation. Here, there is that connection into the bathroom again, that it would be nice if there was a way around that. Perhaps there would have been a way of coming in this way and going there. I'm not sure. I know it's really tight. And
the one thing that she did do, though, is she does have the sink on access with the door.
Right.
So in terms of space planning, that is the best location.
And it is going into the bedroom rather than anything else. Just looking at the furniture layout, you might want to consider, again, another kind of piece of furniture there just to provide a bit of a furniture seating area.
Yeah.
And then our last plan, I think, is from Alex R.
Yeah, Alex did an interesting thing. I think the thing that was interesting about this scheme is we have that idea of that vestibule into the bedroom and into the bathroom from the main space. So again, it's divided into two zones. We've got the living, dining, kitchen, and then we've got the bedroom and the services in this one side.
Yeah, yeah, and I like this. I'm presuming that that's not a high wall there. It might be for the kitchen. I think it would be nice if it wasn't, and it was something that was low, so that you could have that whole sense of space. From a space planning point of view, a little bit of concern about that. If that's the closet, that's a long closet. You need 2 feet for a closet space. You probably put it at the end, so you'd have a lot of wasted space right there.
Yeah, and then the bathroom, the square footage
yes,
of the bathroom
that's true.
as well.
There's a lot of extra space right there, having this crammed over in the corner. Bathrooms are tricky things to lay out. You'll discover that as you go along. And then we've got, he was kind enough to provide a 3-dimensional view with a hot sports car.
Yeah, and he posted more views of his project on the site as well.
That's right. Well, that's great to have all of this. We really appreciate being invited into your class in New York. It's wonderful. Please respond, ask us any questions if you got them, and we're going to go through the rest of the class's work in a couple days' time.
See you tomorrow. If you're interested in learning more about the principles of slow home design, you can pick up a copy of our book entitled What's Wrong with This House? It's a practical guide to finding a well-designed and sustainable home. It's available for sale on the Slow Home Studio website. It's also available for sale at Amazon.com in both paperback and the Kindle format.